Hello again. I'm Dr. Troost, the author of Apes or Angels, Darwin, Dover, Human Nature and Race, the book that I told you was highly controversial and is available only through apesOrangels.com and also Amazon.com. It is available also on hardback or paperback as well. The book deals with several issues. One is the issue of Darwin alienating much of the Christian world with his original 1859 book called The Origin of the Species. He became, as I told you before, public enemy number one, especially for the subpopulation called fundamentalists, who were very large in the 19th century and who have become relatively smaller compared to the more liberalized form of Christian, who, when they are highly educated, have no trouble accommodating evolution in one way or another. However, their accommodation comes with perils because as soon as you begin to give up certain portions of your belief system to the facts of science, you are in a retreat that can be very troublesome in debate with secular thinkers. But in any case, the other issue that Darwin apparently created a debate about was the fact that he pointed out very significant as well as fairly common and trivial human differences, not only on an individual basis but also between the races and among the races. And this part has grown to be a stigmatized topic which one has to avoid in a politically correct environment. It has become almost totalitarian in its psychological effect on people, and the fact that they tiptoe in the mass media constantly have to tiptoe around these issues of human differences, crime rate differences, for instance, between the races. This is to be avoided at all costs, even though they very often give the issue away through publishing photographs of people who are committing crimes, for instance. They are prone to discourage any talk about racial differences in IQ since 1969 and the Arthur Jensen article in the Harvard Educational Review that we've never been able to forget. And Jensen was stigmatized, even though he's a very great psychologist, who is supported by the American Psychological Association in most of what he has put forth, except for the one key issue, and that is how relevant is a genetic explanation to IQ differences. The APA wants to pretend that we have not established any genetic basis, whereas the research shows otherwise. Let me give you an example of a study, the Minnesota Transracial Adoption Study, which was a relatively simple study, but yet it can tell us a lot about the role of environment versus genes in terms of development of IQ. If you take infants that are from two black parents and have them adopted by middle class, fairly well-to-do white parents that with college degrees, take another group which have parents that one is black and one is white, a blended type, like James Blake, the Olympic tennis player. He is a blend of black and white parents. Tiger Woods is black and Asian, a blend. That type of adopted infant will go to white middle-class parents as well, and then essentially randomly chosen white children who have no systematic difference with these other children as far as we could tell, were then given to white parents as well. These are all adoptees. And then after 7 and 17 years, we test them with IQ tests and achievement tests. We find that at age 7, these three groups of children, with the white children with white parents being a control group that we can make comparisons with, the results are that the blended children and the black children show slight superiority over black children that live in their normal poor neighborhood environments in central cities, what we call ghettos, and that, but they are slightly superior. So they show already by age 7 some increase in IQ due to the benefits of living in an upper middle class white neighborhood with white parents. The results at age 17, however, show you the possible effects of genetic factors that cannot be overcome, apparently. And that is that the, as Arthur Jensen would predict, the black children fall behind by a full 16 IQ points, and the blended children actually come out halfway between, and of course the white children are 16 points higher. I'm talking about means for the groups. Thus, we show by this study that even improving the environment to upper middle class and giving these children every benefit of a healthy, normal, stimulating, educationally stimulating environment, they cannot overcome the genetic limitations that they've inherited. There's no crime in this. What Arthur Jensen was simply trying to do, and what the bell curve was talking about, is simply that it's simple anthropology, that races are different in dozens and dozens of ways, from blood type to a number of sweat glands to body structure to dentition to there's many other things. Even behavior and character can be influenced genetically. And so while we are engaged in the Human Genome Project and related projects that are now uncovering the genetic basis for much of our human nature, we have got to begin to gradually accept the reality that just as athletic ability is not equally distributed among the races. Blacks are, blacks from West Africa at least, from West Africa in America are clearly athletically superior on average to whites. And this is depressing news for many whites who 50 years ago would have been high school football stars and would have been high school basketball stars. I'm old enough to have seen professional basketball at the NBA when it was entirely white. There was no black players at all. Now it's almost entirely black because they're better at it. They simply had no opportunities in the old days, even though they were sitting home with a genetic constitution that was athletically superior in potential to the whites that were out there benefiting from their professional careers. That all gradually changed as the West became more liberal, more open, changed their laws, and allowed people to express themselves in a variety of new ways that they couldn't before. Thank you very much.